We are live on Facebook and on YouTube. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us in our Luke and Susie Discourse. We've got a whole bunch of questions we're going to get through. We're going to deal with someone's bad breath. We're going to deal with
scariest question.
The crazy question that has been asked. That is not only a question about us, but then actually it's full of ridiculous behaviour, which we adore and love.
Perfect.
In response to it.
Yeah.
It's a two-parter. We're going to be preparing for challenges or deadlines. We've got a whole lot coming up to be a part of in the Luke and Susie Discourse. Are you ready to rock and roll, Suze?
I'm ready to rock and roll.
All right, let's do this. The Luke and Susie quotable in just moments, and it's talking about insanity.
It's Luke and Susie with Faith Family Culture. It's Luke and Susie with you. We're broadcasting from Greece.
It's the wise words of someone from yesteryear. If you are watching along, make sure you add your comments to the chat, and whether or not you're on social media or whether or not you're on YouTube, you can just type in your comments. We'll see them come through, and we can add them to the conversation. You don't have to be on camera to be able to be a part of what we're talking about. But let's get in to a beautiful, brilliant first question. Well, that's not the button. Let me try and get the button right here.
Okay.
With the Luke and Susie Discourse, it feels good to explore your fun and meaningful questions and your thoughts. Let's discourse.
I said, don't stop talking to me.
All right, Suze, a question that has come to the show and said, what's something that's made you happy recently? What a brilliant question. What a great premise to be able to try and explore conversation with people. So what has made you happy recently, Suze?
Lots of things make me happy, but I'm going to say the thing that made me most happy recently was yard work. Getting some yard work done that's been bothering me. And every time I would walk out the door, I would see it and it needed to be done. Yeah. And it's sorted and it just, I don't know, just made me feel lighter and brighter and happier all round.
Yeah.
How about you? What's something that's made you happy recently?
There's lots of things. One of them is our son's recent invention. He's gone and graduated from the child who gives squidgy cuddles, which was just a way he described the really tight squeeze cuddles, to now he's a cuddle machine. And so he'll walk up to you doing like this arm, like the claw thing, and that's him without words coming to say, I'm coming to give you a cuddle.
Yeah.
Just that little moment when you see him walking to you with his like arms going into a open,
the Hugginator
claw.
5000.
Yeah. It's that just seeing that and just knowing I got a cuddle from a little man coming that makes me happy.
It does actually, because they're so close to being all in high school. Next year they're all in high school. It's just that little glimpse of there's still a little bit of little boy there. It's nice.
Goodness only knows how long we're going to be getting those sorts of cuddles for. Let's take them while we can. We want to explore this. What has made you happy recently?
Ian, what's something in your world that's made you feel happy recently?
Oh, I've got a clanger. So from my wife's first marriage, I've always called him my son, but he wants to change his name to our family name. And he's just presented that, and you could have knocked me over with a feather, I think.
Wow.
You're talking about a 27-year-old bloke here. You're not talking about a young kid. He just wants to, feel like he wants to join in with us. So that made me beside myself, let alone happy.
Well,
That's huge.
It's a significant validation to say you mean something to me, right? Like that.
Without a doubt. Yeah. It just like he wants to join in the family, and this is something that he wants to do. This is something that he brought up. And he actually called me and said, would it be all right with you if I?
I like that, because it's not an anti anything. It's just a pro something, and it's a well thought out decision given he's an adult. Yeah.
It's his feeling and it's his emotion, and it came out of the blue. And like I said, he's a 28-year-old man. So it was just, this is something that he's not taken lightly, but it was, to make me happy. Yeah. And the best thing is his mum doesn't know yet.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
we won't tell.
No.
It's just between us, Ian.
Just between us and the internet.
That's right.
There's no radio audience. There's no internet audience. It's just private moments.
That's beautiful.
Well, the cat will be out of the bag in a couple of days, so he'll be into it. But it's just going to be a remarkable moment.
Yeah. Well, I look forward to that.
Beautiful.
Even the anticipation of that would be something to make you happy. Daisy, what's something that has made you happy recently?
For me, well, I've got so many things that have made me happy, but the most of all is my husband took some time off work and I get to see him like more often. So it's so beautiful. And yeah, we're having so much good family time together with the kids, like which I haven't enjoyed in a while. So yes,
Okay, Daisy,
Yeah.
let me ask you a question. Because when Luke
yeah.
goes on holidays, I get what I like to call holiday husband. It's like when Luke's really relaxed, he's more fun, he's just more engaged. And is your husband the same? Do you have holiday husband?
Yes, 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 yes. So you see a kind of rejuvenated part of him, and you're like, where has this part been all this while?
Yeah.
But at the same time, when he's away, I can't sleep. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. And
Well,
then when he's there for too long, it feels like, oh, please, I think I need a break. So,
I
Susie,
get you, Daisy.
Susie, don't just let's move on from that one, Susie.
We get it. Chris, what's something in your world that's made you happy recently?
Well, I'm a little bit of a kind of prankster, happy dad kind of figure, and for me, it was that moment where my 12-year-old son came up to me this week and he's just come out with his finger and gone, "Hey, Dad, pull my finger."
There he is. It's
Yeah.
Dad and his son.
Yeah,
You
bit of
can
the
see
crazy
it.
wearing off.
There's nothing that can quite describe if you're not a dad that feeling that comes from this sort of inappropriate kindness, right? So that you don't learn this, you just instinctively know that flatulence is funny. And so as a child, when you're bathing your children and there's bubbles that come up from behind them and they giggle, you're like, yes, it has always and will always be funny when someone pops off in the bath. Proud dad
Absolutely.
moments.
The other side is the instant disgust from my daughter as well at my son and I doing this.
Yeah.
That would make it all worthwhile. I love it. All sorts of things can bring us little moments of happiness. Becky, what's something that's made you happy recently?
Having some friends over for the first time. So I just moved recently, so that was good.
Oh, so like a little, was it a mini housewarming or was it just a get together? Just.
Yeah, it was a mini housewarming. That was good.
Yeah.
Ah, so nice. It's always
Social
good when you
connection.
move into a new place and it's just fresh and it's still clean and everything's set up how you want it. That's so
Yeah,
good.
exactly.
Yeah, lots of good feelings
Do you
in
know,
there.
do you know what I don't like about that housewarming kind of party thing is when everybody arrives separately and then it's right to give them a bit of a tour through the place, but then if they all arrive scattered, then I'm like, you're giving tours all the time, and I'm just like, can we just schedule in one official tour and I'll guide everyone through at the same time? Is that
I
just
actually
me?
did that.
Did you?
Yeah, I said, okay, I'm going to show you my house now. And so anyone who wanted to could come and look. But
Yeah.
everyone came at the same time because I waited to go
Wow.
down and pick them up. So that worked well.
Oh,
Perfect.
you've nailed that. Yeah. You
Smart thinking. Not your first time, I'd say, Becky.
have everything set for when you open the gates. Right? It's a big rush like a sporting stadium. I like it. Beth, what's something that's made you happy recently?
I got two little boys, 2 and 10 months, and just watching their developing, their growing. Language from my 2-year-old, just very cheeky. Told me to go and do the dishes before while him and his brother watch TV. So those little moments are a bit funny. But yeah, my little one, he's just started crawling and sitting up and stuff. So yeah,
Oh,
watching
I
them
love that.
grow.
That's I reckon that's such a good skill to have, to be able to take delight and joy in the everyday little things, those little glimpses of development that you see, that extra, the new word that they're saying or the new skill they have. I just think that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's a great way to have a happy life.
It's hard because we're very busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, taking those moments to be intentional about it for sure.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that.
Let's go with one more. We can fit one more in. Let's go, Lyra. Lyra, what's something that's made you happy recently?
I think maybe something that happened on the weekend. So my best friend, we used to live around the corner from each other, and now we live over an hour and a half away. And over the weekend, we got to hang out with them and their new baby. and we pretty much just spent the whole day just like staring at the baby and just adoring him. And yeah, that made us really happy.
Yeah, babies
that's
can do
beautiful.
that.
That's very nice.
Susie, you want to have another one? No? Hey, love it when you are in contact and you send your questions through. You can do that on the SMS 0417 455 37.
With the Luke and Susie Discourse, it feels good to explore your fun and meaningful questions and your thoughts. Let's discourse.
Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop talking to me.
Roxanne, you cheeky thing, has sent a question to the show. Roxy. And she said, if Luke and Susie were animals, what animals would they be and why? Part 1. Part 2, you then have to make the animal sound.
Is this just, are we going to get others in on our answering this as well?
Of course we are. We're not going to be the only ones making animal sounds.
Have you thought long and hard about
No,
this?
I haven't. I haven't given it any thoughts at all. I've just been laughing at the ridiculousness of it. Have you?
Well, it didn't take me very long at all.
Right, okay.
I would be a cat.
Right, why?
Because they have just the right amount of energy use for me in a day. And it's a lot of being served.
Yeah.
And a lot of just resting in the sun and lying down and having naps. I'm a big fan of naps. So I think,
An old Labrador could do that too. An old Labrador, but still gets to kind of have the waggy tail. But, you know, you don't expect much of an old Labrador.
I couldn't think of an animal that had bursts of productivity and then napped.
Right.
then another burst of productivity and napped. So I went for a cat. Partly because it's the easiest sound to make as well. Do I need to do that now?
Yes, yeah. That was
It's a very contented
the
cat.
lamest, most pathetic animal sound.
You're so rude. Okay. What's your animal?
Well, I don't know. I can't even think of what I would be. There's I can go with the old Labrador, but then it's just that's a bit incomplete. But there's a little hyperactive side of me, but maybe it doesn't. Let me have to think about it. Let's see what others are going to suggest for us. Suze, who are we going to go to here?
Let's go to Michelle. All right, Michelle, let's think animals in your world. Think about your life. What animal most reflects who you are and what sound does it make?
Well, no, it's us.
What she would think for us?
It's supposed to be about us.
Oh, how well do you know us, Michelle?
I don't know.
I listen to you most mornings, so I know that much.
Yep.
It's very interesting, like how I pictured you two is totally different to what I'm seeing now.
So am I more handsome or less handsome, Michelle?
Let's move on to the next question. And no, just kidding.
Because you can't answer that question without being offensive. Okay, cool. So then let's put some animals onto us. If we were animals, what would we be and why?
Oh, okay. I'm going to say tiger there for you, Luke.
Ooh.
Only because you're pretty outgoing, and I'm just trying to think of an animal, and all I could think of was Katy Perry's "I Am a Tiger," and you're going to hear me roar. So
I
get it. Mind, and I was like, you know what, that would be out of the two, Luke. So
yeah, I like it. In fact, it's given me a bit of the eye of the tiger.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Dun 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 dun. Okay, cool. Yeah,
that's not what I was thinking at all.
Right.
But
all right, sure. All right, you got to make a tiger sound.
I thought you did.
No, you do.
Yeah, no, you have to.
I do?
Yes.
Oh, come on. All right, this is going to be embarrassing. Okay, what about for Susie?
Oh, I don't think a cat, but I liked how
No.
you said about the energy nap.
Yeah,
And I just had my niece here, literally left as I was logging on. She's only about 8 months old, and she had energy nap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, just trying to think about it.
Well, you've just given Susie the animal, an 8-month-old child.
You do not have responsibility again.
All right, Susie, make the sound.
Thinking back to our boys at 8 months, it would be.
This is not where I thought we were going.
You did great, Michelle. That was a tricky position we put you in with
That's
no
awesome.
notice. Well done.
That's
we're
awesome.
Actually, we're expecting in 2 months too, so now I've just remembered that sound comes out of them. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
You just made
Yeah. Trauma-inducing.
It's
That's
more
right.
endearing when it's your own child, though, Michelle. So
Yeah.
congratulations.
Hearing.
Yeah, more endearing than a radio announcer doing it into a microphone. Yeah, that's probably a fair call, Suze. Let's go with Chris. If Luke and Susie were animals, what would they be and why?
Oh, look, I haven't thought about it particularly for you guys, but I was thinking about the question for me. If I was an animal, I think I'd be a bee. Like you think
Ooh.
you've got one job to do, and your job is going around sniffing flowers.
That's not a bad life.
Yeah, how good would that be?
Did you choose a bee because it's one of the easiest sounds to make, though, in reality? Chris, you can be honest here.
I've never heard a bee speak, but yeah.
Well, maybe you just haven't been asking the right questions, Chris.
True.
Yeah. So and now you need to make a bee sound, Chris.
I guess it's bzzz. Yeah.
I'll accept it.
That's a bee with attitude, that one.
All right, let's see who else we're going to ask this uncanny, unusual question.
unusual.
You know what, Ian? Ian, you've been around the traps a bit. We've spoken to you before. We've had a bit to do with each other, so you know us a little bit better. Pick an animal. What would Luke be, do you reckon?
Luke would be an eagle.
Ooh.
Now, the reason why I went eagle is because I pick up that he has he likes a holistic overview, a helicopter view of what's going on. That makes him feel comfortable and safe, but also the ability to fly and to soar through the clouds. But yeah, I got an eagle for Mr.
And
Luke.
I'm constantly trying to get rid of rats and mice. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
of course, that's the big one. The rats and mice were the big one, yeah.
Yeah. So that's a
Yeah,
eagle that's
that was your
upset.
eagle
Yeah,
sound?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
good.
I haven't heard one like that before, but that was
thanks.
and for the mother, a lioness all the way.
Ooh, okay.
So,
I'll take that.
They like to lie down.
Yeah.
And they always look pretty and look like they want to scratch. But if you come near the family, they'll tell you when to.
Yes. We were talking about lioness Susie recently.
Yeah.
Can look completely chilled, but then someone goes for her little cub.
Yeah.
Oh.
Go after my family.
You watch out.
An eagle and a lion.
That was my.
That was your lion. Okay, maybe not a lion. I'll rethink it.
See, the scary mama lion doesn't make a noise. The scary
That's
mama
true.
lion doesn't make a noise. She just gives
prowling.
a look.
Yeah.
She just,
Just
yeah.
get that big claw and you're gone. You're done.
Yeah. This is ridiculous but fun for us to have explored. We love it when you write through to us and ask your questions. 0417 455 37.
With the Luke and Susie Discourse, it feels good to explore your fun and meaningful questions and your thoughts. Let's discourse.
Said it, don't stop talking to me.
Well, we say we want to answer your questions and respond and give people the opportunity to explore what's going on for you. And Daisy has written a question through to us. We've got Daisy here with us because we need to unpack this a little bit before we can find some solutions. First of all, Daisy, let me honour you in the midst of this is a potentially awkward situation, but I like your wording where you say in a decent manner. You're looking for decency and honour in the midst of a very difficult situation. Someone with bad breath. Why have you asked this question?
Because I found myself in such situation where I don't know how to say it, just because I don't want them to feel embarrassed. And I mean, with this kind of question, the embarrassment comes in both ways. What if I don't say it well? And it's kind of sensitive as well. So if you have someone that comes up to you and tell you, "Oh, I noticed you have a bad breath," give them a thumbs up because it takes bravery to do that.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. So you've got a situation where it's noticeable their breath. If you don't say anything, it could be humiliating for them when they know that people have been thinking this. If you do say something, it could be embarrassing, but it's the decent thing to do to give them an opportunity that maybe there's something that they can do to change it. So how do you do it and maintain, honor to that person? have you done it? Have you found that way, or are you still searching?
I'm still searching, but with
Okay.
someone close to me, I give them like chewy.
Yeah. You give them chewy. Yeah.
Just it's
Here,
subtle.
Pop this.
Subtle messaging.
Susie, in those situations, and I don't know specifically whether it's been breath or not, but you would just go, brush your teeth, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's
To
just
you and the
straight, rip
boys,
the Band-Aid off.
to
Yeah.
you and the boys, I'm
Yeah.
quite direct about
Yeah.
it because I know it's coming from I don't,
Yeah.
particularly with the boys, I don't want your friends teasing you
Yeah.
because you smell a certain way.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're gonna open up the lines on this one and get your thoughts on it, because I think my initial response is, so often in these situations, to try and be nice, we often try and find the softest way to do it. And the softer we try and make it, the more we talk around it. The more we talk around it, the less soft it actually is. That so often we then make it worse than if we're just really kind of, it's not a big deal, letting you know, maybe you can do something about it, maybe there's something, but I thought you'd rather know than not know.
Yeah.
I just, in some way, a bit more direct than what our emotions say we want to be, I think is helpful. Let's get some thoughts.
In a best friend relationship, I like Daisy's strategy of just offer chewing gum, and when they say I don't want any, you say, yeah, you do. Yeah, you want some. You want some.
Uh-huh.
Becky, is this a situation you've ever found yourself in where someone you care about and you love, you want them to, be their best self and not be teased or thought badly of, they've had bad breath? Has that ever happened in your world?
Yeah, or even bad odor, and you're like, maybe get some perfume. So it's a really hard one, but I was thinking maybe you could subtly mention, have you had garlic recently? So just sort of bring it up, and then they go, oh, why you ask? And just be like, oh, I just noticed your breath is quite strong at the moment. So not say it's bad, but just say it's quite strong, and slip it in sort of subtly. So if they don't notice and they don't say anything back to you, you've got that window that you haven't offended them.
Yeah.
And but for a close friend, I think, or family member, it's all right to bring them aside and say, hey, listen, I think you might need to maybe floss or brush your teeth. Like if it's someone you're really, really close with, who you're not going to easily offend, I think that's actually okay to do that.
Yeah, I agree.
I reckon one of the hardest is it's not so much the ones that are closest to us or the ones that are completely strangers that we're meeting for the first time, because maybe we do go, it's not our place to do that. It's those people that are in between. They both kind of, we know them well enough that it's right on that we should or shouldn't we, but you don't have that trust built up over a long period of time that you're only doing it for their best interest, whereas the people who are close to you know that you're doing it out of love.
Yeah, and it's tricky because you kind of go into it with how would I want to be told?
Yeah.
And maybe it's the subtle way.
Yeah.
That whole conversation starter of, if you had bad breath, would you want someone to tell you? And if they say no, go, okay.
All right, nothing more to say then. But I think this is where I go from me. I would want it to be over and done with as quick as possible.
Yeah.
So get to it quickly, get to the point and get it done. So then
if it's
we can
being
actually
said
not be
to
awkward.
you, or you're the one saying
Yeah,
it.
if it's being said to me. I want to be able to move on and go, okay, maybe I can do something about that, and then just not have to talk about it again.
Have you ever been the one that's had to say this to somebody, Beth, that they're not smelling great either in their breath or their body? Have you had to say that to somebody before?
I've had to want to. I've had a teacher in year 10 in maths, and he used to lean over my shoulder all the time to help me, and he had the worst coffee breath, and you kind of just slowly move away. But I don't know. My husband and I have a little code. We just pass each other a breath mint.
That's good.
Gentle enough, but not someone outside of, like Luke said before, that strange when you're interacting with someone who's not quite your friend enough to say, hey, you smell.
And a teacher's different, isn't it? Because the power dynamic's so different. It would be weird for you to say it to them.
Yeah, and he was very old, so it was very awkward.
It's
It is.
This is maybe just constantly having mint or gum on you at all times, so that you are always prepared to not have to use words, but just do the offering of the mint. Let's go, Chris. Chris, what about you? What's the way to be able to communicate to someone that maybe their odor isn't great, but do it in maintaining honor and in a decent way? No, we lost Chris.
We've had a message through from Jess who raises a good point. She says the thing is a lot of people have medical issues and medication that can affect their breath. So I'd be careful before saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And anything that you do, there is lots of. It could be something that they just can't help, and it's just what it is, and you don't want them to feel too conscientious about it. But maybe it is that they don't know, therefore they can be treated for it. And so some medical conditions, it could just be sorted, and yet yes, it is that fine line as to really kind of try and work out whether to say something and how to say something.
What I like about Daisy asking the question though is I think this is something that is easier if you've kind of got your prepared answer. Like if you just kind of think it through and go, I think I'd be comfortable saying this, and then just be ready if you're ever in that situation.
I think any way to make it sound, if you can make it sound like it's not that big a deal, like that's really important.
Because in reality, it's not. At some point, we all have bad breath.
Yeah, we do. Hey, love exploring life with you. On the SMS, you can send your questions to be a part of the Luke and Susie Discourse. 0417 455 37.
With the Luke and Susie Discourse, it feels good to explore your fun and meaningful questions and your thoughts. Let's discourse.
I said don't stop talking to me.
All right, Suze, a question has come through from Becky. I'm going to give you my answers before we talk to Becky to try and get the question.
Okay.
My answer are, one is scream and wave my hands in the air. Rock in the fetal position in the corner, or pretend like there's nothing that I have to do or get to. Just act oblivious and dumb to it all. They're the three ways I deal with the question that we're about to explore.
I suspect, Becky, that's completely unhelpful to the question that you've asked today. How are you? You good?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Let's have a look at this question you've sent through. How do you prepare yourself for meeting a challenge or deadline? Is this something that happens to you are you working or studying?
Yeah, so working and about to start studying again. So it's going to be completely relevant for probably the rest of my life.
Yeah.
So screaming, waving your hands, rocking in the fetal position, or pretending like there's nothing to see here are not helpful strategies.
No, but they're definitely relatable.
Flick into procrastination mode, I think, is a common strategy all around for everybody.
One of the things I've started to implement that for me, I found it helpful is I actually have set myself 30 minutes every day in my calendar to plan my day. And that 30 minutes now is I sit and go through my task list, through the deadlines, through everything, and go, okay, what do I have to get done today? What has to be done this week, and what can be put off for the month? And I start every day with that now, and I'm feeling like I'm coping and hitting the deadlines better than when I wasn't doing that. But locking away, it feels inefficient, but what it does is it just gives me confidence and clarity about how I can make a difference today. That's what I found's helped me.
That's good.
We recently had a whole stack of deadlines, a lot of things that needed to be done by a specific point in time because Luke was going away. And so we just sat down and went, okay, what is it? Let's actually write down and have a look at what is it that needs to get done? What's our deadline? And how can we chunk it down into parts? And it ended up being quite, like one job we got done over a week early because we'd sort of set that that's the best time to do it without us getting exhausted. And so even though there were times where days were a little bit harder than others, it was never stressful because we knew we had allocated the time to do the job.
We're on top of it. All right.
That's one time, and it happened recently. So you've asked at the right time, because every other time it would have been exactly what Jess's answer is, which is wait till the last minute, then go crazy and get it done in a hyper-focused, crazy amount of time. All right, we're going to ask around the room, Becky, see if we can find out what other people do to prepare themselves for meeting a challenge or a deadline. Great question. Thanks for sending it through.
Thank you, Becky. Let's go to Michelle. Michelle, what's your thoughts? How do you prepare yourself for meeting a challenge or a deadline?
Old Michelle, procrastinate for sure. Hyper-focus at the end was great. I think I got through my master's with a distinction, crying to my husband about 3 hours before it was due, and he didn't know how I got the marks, and I'm like, neither do I.
Well done.
Mature Michelle has a quadrant to-do list now, so I don't have a list that goes just top to bottom. I have a quadrant one, so it's set up in 4 quadrants. I've got important and urgent. That's always number 1. Then I've got important but not urgent. That's number 2. urgent, but not importance number 3, and then neither is number 4. So that might be an interest project or something that I've got going on. So I literally use that important and urgent box as my main to-do list, because I would fall into the trap of having a big to-do list and then get the easiest one done, because you want to feel successful in doing that.
Yeah.
But it was not important or urgent. And so the thing that you had to do was getting procrastinated, pushed to the back and stuff. So I use the 4-quadrant model now, and it has been excellent and brilliant, because I'll get in and go, okay, I have this list, but I know that I only need to focus on box number 1, and at the end of the day, I'll move anything across that needs to be shuffled. But and what do they call it? It's like biting the head of the frog, the terminology, which is, if you were to eat a frog, and you're going to have to eat the whole lot, do you just nibble at it, or do you just get in and get it over and done with? And it's a bit of a first thing in the morning, you get that worst task out of the way.
Yes.
And you feel fantastic. So they're my 2.
Yeah.
So one of the things, because I've effectively, it's different words, but my daily, weekly, monthly, sort of weighting is the same, different words, but the same thing as your quadrants. But what I found is then if I get efficient and I get through the things I need to do now, and then I can actually make traction on some of the other ones, I don't. I go, it's almost like they don't exist anymore. Like I got to wait until they're in the urgent box.
You need the reward system.
Yeah. Yes, rewards big time.
All right, let's get some more thoughts on this to help Becky through navigating this.
Lyra, are you there with us at the moment? Can we hear you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Have you got any tips on how you prepare for meeting a challenge or a deadline in your world?
Well, I think every challenge starts with a strong cup of herbal tea. I wish it could be coffee for me, but can't have coffee. So anytime I'm like, all right, I'm really going to get this done, the kettle starts boiling.
Yeah.
And we put on some herbal tea to get started. And then after that, I get distracted really easily. So just making sure there's no distractions around.
Yeah. Yeah, I love
the procrastinator in me wants to say, but then I'd spend all my time getting rid of all of the distractions, looking for them.
That's probably the case for me too, most of the time. I'm not gonna lie.
The herbal tea is a great tip.
The one thing in that strategy that I resonate with, but also then there's this little part that makes me feel the pain, is the having the tea. For me, it is mostly coffee. But then if the task is too long and I get to that point where I'm just working away and then I go grab my cup and I sit and it's empty, I'm like,
that's the worst feeling.
Devastating. Then I have to get up in the middle of the task and go get another one.
Yeah.
All right.
I like the idea of the herbal tea though, because it's more calming to the system. So rather than being firing and sort of wired, it's just a bit. You could probably be a bit more reasonable in your thinking. That's excellent, Lyra. Really good.
Let's get through. Actually, let me go to producer Sammy, who has to deal with my abilities to try and meet deadlines and challenges. Producer Sammy, what's your thoughts on the best way to prepare for this?
Speaking right now is a challenge. I prepared with water.
Yeah, I forgot. She's in the background. She's not in the office because I'm not going to make you talk, Producer Sammy. You can keep messaging. She's working from home today. Let's go with Chris. Chris, what about you? What's it like to prepare for meeting a challenge or a deadline? What do you do?
Hey, look, I'm a bit of a minimalist in the lead up to it. Let's just say that I'm with you on the procrastination. But in my day-to-day job, I have lots of deadlines all the time. I find just breaking it down into chunks, so manageable steps that you can take one at a time, and I guess celebrating the small achievements.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I reckon that makes a difference is when you get little wins along the way.
Yeah.
Because that's what we found when we chunked down our task into different bits that we were doing on different days. It was really good to get to the end of it and know, we're sitting right on track and we've done what we had to do. And it made it easier to relax in the downtime as well.
I was just reading, as you were talking there, Suze, I was just reading Jess's message talking about Elise Meyer said, there's nothing less motivating than having more than enough time to finish the task.
True.
I felt that in my soul. Yeah, I've got more than enough time. Let's do something else.
Yeah,
I am the ultimate of waiting until it's right at that. Now it's suddenly panic mode before I even start to do anything. And I try and talk myself out of it, but gee, my brain just convinces me
Yeah.
that something else becomes more important. We love it when you message through your questions. Hopefully that has been helpful in some way to Becky. You can text through more thoughts to 0417 455 37.
With the Luke and Susie Discourse, it feels good to explore your fun and meaningful questions and your thoughts. Let's discourse.
Said it, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop talking to me.
We've got Chris with us right now. Chris, you've come up with a question that Luke has said he doesn't want to talk about.
Don't want to.
Because it can be a bit of a source of conflict. Tell us, you're talking about the snooze button today. Is this an issue in your household?
Oh, not so much an issue. It's more a realization that I've been pressing the snooze button out of habit. I wake up on time, I press the snooze button, I'm awake anyway, but I just keep pressing it.
Yeah. And you're richer, your life is richer for it, Chris. What a blessing.
I guess it is, yeah. It makes the mornings a little more chill.
Yeah. No expert ever endorses our snooze button pushing habit.
No.
But no one lives inside my skin except me. And there's just something, the slow wake up on some mornings feels essential, Chris. I'm a snooze button pusher and Susie hates it.
Only because I'm a light sleeper and his alarm always wakes me before it wakes him.
Yeah.
And then I'll start to snooze and then it goes off again and then it goes off again. And so it's not on a day where I can sleep in, I'm left, disturbed by his
And I can have
snooze.
multiple alarms set, hitting snooze on both of them. In the end, I'm looping every 60 seconds, something going off and watches buzzing and I'm still not waking up properly.
It's maddening, Chris. It's maddening.
It's very challenging.
So in answer to your question, are you a fan of the snooze button? To use it, sure. To listen to Luke's, no.
All right, let's explore snooze button habits. Thank you, Chris. All right, Ian, are you a snooze button pusher?
No.
You're straight up. Or do you not have an alarm at all?
I just go that little bit further. And what I do is I have my alarm going off at a time that I need to get out of bed, not a time that I want to get out of bed. So I'm normally tossing and turning a bit and waking up slowly beforehand. So when the alarm goes, I go, that's my time limit. It's time to get up. It's time to move.
Yeah, I'm really good at convincing myself I can cut corners and save some time. And I'm lying there going, I need to get up at 7:40, for example, and I've got to have a shower and I've got to go do this. And I'm like, I can have a quick shower and I can just I'll have a different breakfast so it's quicker. And in my head, I'm doing the calculation. No, I can buy another 10 minutes. And I keep cutting until eventually I'm getting out of bed, quickly throwing the clothes on and then running out screaming because I'm late.
Yeah.
I used to do that when I was a lot younger. I used to be a snoozer and a trimmer until I ended up having to be in charge of other people. And then when I was in charge of other people, it shifted my thinking to responsibility. It changed how I looked at it, as it is a bit disrespectful to be late. So I then had to shift my thinking about it. So now I just set the alarm at a point in time to which I need to start moving. And then I wake up beforehand and toss and turn and then jump up.
Yeah,
a great philosopher once wrote, responsibility, what's that? Don't want to think about it. We'd be better off without it. Don't want to think about it. And I said great philosopher, I mean a rock band, MXPX. But
it sounds like you've essentially got your own internal snooze button happening there. You could get up before your alarm goes off when you first wake up, but you just keep moving. Beth, are you someone who uses the snooze? Do you not use an alarm at all? Or do you, when you hear it, you're straight up?
Well, my kids are my alarm clock and they don't have a snooze button. So...
It's true, because they're little, right? They're only little.
Yeah. So the 10-month-old was up at 5:45 last couple of mornings, so that's been really nice.
Can we pause our thinking for a second? Just take a deep breath together and imagine life where our children did have a snooze button and they get up and they start going and we could just hit the button and they settle down for another 10 minutes. Like, how awesome would that be?
A bit different.
Isn't that teenage good when they get to that point you can't get them out of bed?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. And it's good to remember that while you're in this season, Beth, that it's not going to last. It's quite a short time comparatively that you've got these early wake-ups and disturbances where you're not in control of your own wake-up time. But Yeah, it's probably the most effective alarm clock, a child screaming in the morning.
Absolutely.
The snooze button, to snooze or not to snooze. Michelle, what's your thoughts?
Okay, so long story, no alarms in ours. So we stopped using them a while ago, and it turns out it works way better because you actually want to check the time. You're like, I wonder what time is it, and you start figuring out just from the light coming in the morning what the time is. So
No alarms.
Yeah, we started from, it was really interesting. We did the 7 Principles of Making Marriage Work course, the Gottman one.
Yeah.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But one of their big recommendations is no phones in the bedroom. Get rid of all the phones in the bedroom. So we ditched them, and then we got the, the normal alarm clock kind of things that you have, when phones went around. And we started using those, and turns out after a little while we just didn't need to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we don't use alarms anymore. Although I did have a walk with the Sisterhood girls at 6 a.m. this morning, which I slept through, so maybe it doesn't work all the time.
Well, we are in an unfortunate home at the moment in our rental, which wouldn't necessarily make this strategy overly effective, where our master bedroom has 0 windows.
Yeah.
Like it is, 0 windows to the outside world. And it's beautiful for blocking out the light to get to sleep when you just need that horrible you don't wake up to light.
Yeah, that would suck really bad because even if your alarm goes off, it's so dark you're just comfortable anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go. Oh.
No, you're right.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I used to always, as growing up, block out as much light as I could when I went to sleep. And my husband, when we, lived together, he would have them bright open all night. So the light would come in and wake him up. I used to hate that. So now we have that happy medium where the windows are cracked, but it's not going to blind me in the face.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Lyra, snooze button or not snooze button?
I am the worst person to ask about this.
Should we ask you again in 9 minutes?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to plan to have at least 20 minutes in the morning where I can keep hitting snooze.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the type to get up and jump out of bed.
It's. I think it is a mixed bag of life, Susie, and I think that it's so hilarious that when it comes to marriages, what I've often seen is how much a snoozer is attracted to a non-snoozer.
Yeah,
and vice versa. That you rarely end up with someone who's the same as you. It's one of those silly principles. That
I wrote down the course that Michelle talked about, 7 Principles of Making Marriages Work. So I thought maybe that'd be interesting because they were different, but they found a way.
Well, I don't endorse what they offer. If they're taking away my snooze button, Suze. All right, let's get to our final question. We need at least 3 votes on this one because Beth has asked a question. Let's get to it.
With the Luke and Susie Discourse, it feels good to explore your fun and meaningful questions and your thoughts. Let's discourse.
I said, don't stop talking to me.
Just to prepare for our conversation with Beth, I just want to just throw this in there.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Because Beth has a very specific question about that artist. Beth, what is your question?
Well, I've always been made fun of for liking Michael Bublé, and people tell me over and over again that it makes me an old person for liking his music. So I want to know, is it an old person's genre, or am I just old at heart?
No.
Does liking Michael Bublé music make you old?
No,
Suze?
it makes you classy and tasteful.
Yes.
And wonderful.
Okay, so I want to
age irrelevant.
I want to give my absolute answer, and then I want to expand. My absolute answer is yes. But there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You can like what you want to like, but it's, I just think statistically the demographic is evidence. That statistically that it's the same thing. We went to the Motown show of
Boys to Men.
No, it's the other one, the Aussie ones.
Human Nature.
Human Nature. And we, in our 40s, were like teenagers to that crowd. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have been there. It doesn't mean there was anything wrong with us getting
great.
completely into it.
They were fantastic.
Well, let's just say it was a very silver-oriented theme when it comes to the hair
If there
colour
was a
of the
mosh
room.
pit, we would have been right up the front.
There's nothing quite like moshing wheelchairs. It was quite a show. It was a big crowd too. All right,
It was a great
so
show,
I want to take
yeah.
3 votes, and in the end of this, not including ours, we will get your answer, Beth. This will be 100% conclusive research evidence. All right, let's get into it. If you've got a thought on this for Beth, she's asked the question: does liking Michael Bublé music make her old? 0417 455 37. So the question: does liking Michael Bublé music make you old?
Lyra, does liking Michael Bublé music make you old?
Not if you're listening to him at Christmas.
Uh-huh.
Every other time of the year, yes.
Oh, there's a caveat. Oh.
Same as Mariah Carey.
Right. Okay.
The deep
So-
roasting for Christmas.
Yeah. All right. Let me go back, Beth. Is it just a Christmas Bublé or is it all year round Bublé?
It is all year round.
He's got some great songs.
All year Bublé. See, he only comes out of his cave one month a year.
They've got that meme, haven't they?
Yeah.
Of him doing that. Ian, do you reckon liking Michael Bublé makes you old?
No, because it's like listening to classical music doesn't make you a theologian. I think I think depends on your flavour and what they're singing. I think it just it's just a different genre. I think he's got a great voice. I just don't listen to it because he puts me.
Always put. Okay,
All right.
we actually have had some very sacrilegious message coming through. I don't know I can endorse this. And Jess has said, no, it doesn't. But honestly, his Christmas album is so bad. So bad. There's a million ones. But Jess, can we block Jess's messages from coming? You can't say that about Michael Bublé's Christmas. Like, yes, listening to him all year round makes you old. But
No,
Michael
Jess-
Bublé at Christmas.
Jess probably has a specific taste when it comes to Christmas time.
Do you know what it's feeling like right now?
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
Yeah. See, that's just beautiful. Actually, that little grab is followed up by Mariah Carey.
It is. All right, one more vote. Michelle, does liking Michael Bublé music make you old?
So I have to agree with the Christmas situation and the Mariah Carey situation. Because I have the Michael Bublé Christmas CD and the Mariah Carey Christmas CD. But I think Mariah Carey came even before Bublé. So
well before. Yes.
You know, so if we're still loving Mariah Carey, I think it makes you less old to like Michael Bublé.
All right. So wait, okay. You said a lot of things without giving an actual answer because you are the deciding vote here. So is it a yes or is it a no? Does liking Michael Bublé...
No.
Beth is so happy right now. Beth, can I say what I loved in what Michelle said is it makes you less old than Mariah Carey music lovers. Is that a category that will suffice for now?
I guess I'll have to take it.
I'd say talented or less cultured. You know,
absolutely.
Because if you're missing both, then you're just missing out on so much.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even teenage boys remember playing the old Mariah Carey cassette. Was it the Dream Lover album? Like I had that alongside Bon Jovi.
Oh, yes. Okay.
That was our era. Yeah.
So good. Well, I'm not sure how helpful that actually was, Beth, but thank you for the question.
Well, you can go back to your family now and go, we have done the conclusive research and it has been endorsed by an entire radio community that I'm not old for liking Bublé.
My husband will not agree, but I'm happy.
Well, you know, he can't argue with 3 people research.
Exactly.
It's close enough to conclusive. We'll take it.
Majority rules. If it's good enough for a state of origin contest, it's good enough for this issue. Hey, we love you being a part of the show. Thank you to everyone who's joined us and who's also watched and commented online. We'll have another opportunity sometime soon to be able to hang out together. Thank you so much. Bye for now.